everyone, happy Friday. I hope you are having fun creating your remix assignment. So just that re-envisioning of your project to give us a chance to see our argument in a new way and to share that information that you gain from your research with your classmates without them having to read, lots of longer papers, right? That's my job. That's what I'm doing. So this will be a really nice way to do that. So make sure you're aware of your remix due dates. It works a little bit differently because of the way that we are sharing them with our classmates. You're going to do that through discussion board posts. So make sure that you, if you have any issues with how it's saved, so things like a PDF or something like that should be pretty easy to add to a discussion board. Okay, I wanted to spend the next few minutes discussing, because I'm almost done grading your argumentative papers. Please be on the lookout for that feedback as soon as possible in case you have some larger changes to make to your writing. And remember, this is kind of my proof that you're ready to go out into the world and know how to do this kind of research. And your professors are going to expect you to be able to utilize research to write papers. So really, now's your learning opportunity. It's the time to ask questions and get feedback. So now that I'm making my way through. Oh, and please be on the lookout for individual emails if there's something that I needed to discuss with you personally. But I noticed a trend of about 5 different issues that I see broadly across the class that I wanted to discuss to make sure you understood these things and to really be paying attention to these, because if I said on your feedback that I noticed this thing and I want to see that change in the final draft, I'm going to be looking for that in your final portfolio. The first one is overquoting. So most students only quoted, to be honest with you. So you would say, you would introduce it and have the quote, direct quote in quotation marks. So usually this is the pattern I saw. Topic sentence, research says, insert quote, and then you followed up. That's really not enough to really, well, first of all, it's overquoting. So that's just too much reliance on one little line of research to be your research. So instead, I need to see more paraphrasing that's incorporated into your work. And just remember, there's a video on how to do that and a handout on how to do that. You have to learn the skill of paraphrasing, because your professors are going to expect you to be able to read stuff, understand it, interpret it, and explain it to someone else. So if you're only using quotes, you're missing a crucial step of the learning process. So be aware of overquoting. Along with that, I felt like there was not enough research to provide in a lot of students' papers that in-depth research that we're talking about. So if you'll remember, I believe it's in one of the videos, I liken research papers to you sitting in a coffee shop with all these authors around you who have written about your subject matter, right? So maybe you say something and then source author A says something, source author B says something to kind of agree with that, and source C author disagrees with that, right? They're in conversation with each other. That's how we should visualize sources on the same topic, as either they kind of play off of each other, they agree with each other, they say something a little different, maybe they say something the same. We utilize that in our papers. So I should see more than one source in a paragraph to really fully develop those ideas. Now, I know you're just learning this skill, so you may not do it every time, but I should at least see that in a couple of paragraphs. So several of you I have asked to have some sources like, hey, so one source claimed this, but that's not enough for me to believe you. Does anybody else agree with this, right? So I expect to see more of that in your paper. Along with that, 3 to 4 sources is really not enough for this to be a research-based argumentative paper. Now, if you'll remember, several times I told you that 6 to 10 sources is typically what I see for a successful paper. So for many of you, this showed. Lots of you had really interesting ideas and opinions about it, but a lot of times we were lacking some depth, kind of just blanket statements about your topic, like, doing this thing is bad, something like that, versus actual research telling me what is the research behind these opinions that you have. So a lot of you do need to go back and add some more source work and information into your paper. And in doing so, that'll help you meet the length requirement, because many people did not meet the minimum. And that is even considering things like word choice and stuff. So, and I know you guys know I'm not really big into word count because, again, due to the fact of the matter that is 8 words versus because means the same thing, 1 word. But I do kind of use that to see the depth you're able to produce. And so many of you have not met that minimum, and I've given you some ways to expand and to include more source work in there. Make sure your paragraphs have 1 main idea each. Use your topic sentence to guide you. Keep it focused on 1 main point. Elaborate on that point and incorporate several sources that speak to that point, all right, through quotes sparingly and paraphrasing. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that most people have really awkward introductions into their quotes. So I want you guys to go back and watch the video and utilize resources that show how to introduce quotes. So most of you said something like, according to the research, or you would say, as stated in an article that I read, or as such it states, or something like that. No, that is like really awkward, right? Like, did you feel awkward when you were writing that or reading it out loud? Like, where you're like, that sounds a little off, right? Probably because you were worried about needing to have that parenthetical citation at the end of the sentence. So in APA, you can incorporate the citation in the sentence itself. And to do that, you would just always use the author's name. And for many of you, the author's name wasn't there at all. When it's not there at all, you have not cited your source. So you can do that really easily by saying, according to Smith, parentheses, 2020, because you have to insert the date in APA. So according to Smith, da, 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 or as Smith states in her article, da, 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 da. But you have to have the author's name there. So really, really, really go back to your resources for incorporating those in-text citations, because in APA, the in-text is either in the sentence itself or at the end. But when you're introducing quotes and you're introducing, your paraphrase, it makes it a lot less awkward, and it's encouraged in APA to incorporate the author's name in the sentence. So I'll make sure you have resources for that as you move forward in revising your paper. So I know this was a longer Friday update, but it's really important that you understand how to attack the revisions that need to be done before the end of the semester to show me that you've learned these really, really critical and crucial skills that you need to leave 1020 with, because you're going to be expected to do it on your own after you leave this class. So I'm giving you a chance to practice it again if you didn't get it the first time. All right, have a good weekend, and I will get your papers back to you very soon.